Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Break the Silence podcast, brought to you by Aid to the Church in Need, the charity that supports the suffering and persecuted church around the world. My name is Caroline Hull, and I'm the National Director of Aid to the Church in Need UK. And I have the great joy and honour of being here today with my friend, Bishop Habila Daboh, the Bishop of Zaria in Nigeria. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Before we get started on our chat, I just wanted to fill everyone in on how we met, because it was amusing.
Yeah.
I was in Kaduna staying with Archbishop Matthew, and I came down in the morning, I think, on the way into breakfast, and there was this bishop I hadn't met sitting there. So we sat down and we got to chatting. And it turns out I live in the northwest of England, and you said, that's where I go.
Exactly.
I have good friends there.
Yeah.
So we're having this podcast not too far from where I live, even though I met you not too far from where you live.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So welcome. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Would you like to just tell us a little bit about, you've been bishops, it's the Diocese of Zaria, which is in Kaduna State.
Yeah.
So I hadn't visited, but I drove through it between Kaduna on the way to Kano. So you're sit right sort of on top of the Archdiocese of Kaduna.
Kaduna, yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you haven't been bishop for very long.
For very long, no.
And how is it going?
Yeah, it's been wonderful. And the day we met, it was so inspiring to me, because to have met somebody in Kaduna that comes from where I normally come every year was amazing for me, honestly. So it was like, oh, I have won a lottery.
Ooh, well, thank you.
I've been a bishop for like almost 8 months now. Mm-hmm. So I'm a very young bishop. And my diocese, which is the Diocese of Zaria in Kaduna State, Nigeria, and the people are lovely. The priests are amazing, very, very good, and the parishioners too are very good. So I've not gone so long to say that this is how it is, but the experience so far has been amazing.
It's been good.
Yeah.
And before we move on to the diocese, so you were a priest in the Archdiocese of Kaduna.
Yes.
And you had a special job.
Yes. Yeah.
To tell everyone what you did.
The special job I had in Kaduna was I was the rector of the Good Shepherd Major Seminary. I was rector of that school for 7 years, and while being rector of that place, I had lots and lots of experiences, especially the one that happened when one of my students, was killed, Michael Nadi. Do you want to hear more about that?
Absolutely. We had a press release. We did everything that we could, around that time to let people know. And I know that there were a lot of prayers for the repose of his soul when he died. So if you could share a little bit, I'm sure it's upsetting, but I think that our listeners would be very grateful to hear a bit more.
Thank you. It's really upsetting, because each time I remember what happened, I feel so terrible, because it was on a Monday. I had to travel to the southern part of Nigeria for Rectors Conference. So the day I left was the night that the bandits, the kidnappers, came into the seminary, and it was in the night when we arrived at Oka. That is the name of where we had the meeting. Then my telephone rang and I picked, and that was around 11:30 p.m. the night. And the seminarian just said, "Oh, Father, we are under attack. We are under attack." I said, "Okay, you hold on." I started calling the police, because there are policemen that stationed very close to the seminary. We once in a while feed them. We give them some money in order to buy some of their needs. And so we have the telephone numbers of each other. In case of any eventuality, they should come to our assistance. And immediately I called the policeman. I said, "Look, the seminary is under attack. Could you please do something immediately?" "Oh, I don't know who is speaking. I don't know you. Who are you?" I said, "I am the rector of the seminary, Reverend Father Habila Daboh." I am the one talking. Please, the seminaries. Oh, I don't know what you are talking about. I don't know. And he switched off his phone.
Oh, no.
At this point, I became devastated. Who am I going to call? I had to call right inside Kaduna town. The police there said, oh, Father Rector, we can't do much because the distance is so much. Miraculously, whatever happened, they had some gunshots. And the kidnappers started running away. And when they ran, they took with them 4 of my students.
Oh, right.
Taking these 4, of course, I had to come back the next day to the seminary. I came back and we started talking. So they eventually released 3 of them. And I asked, oh, you took 4, you have released 3. They say, yes, we took 4 and we killed 1. And I asked again, you mean you killed 1 of my students? He said, yes, go to so and so village, you will find his corpse there. I immediately called the Archbishop, Matthew Manuson Dangoso. I explained to him, then we went into action. Went to the place, the people said, yes, they saw 2 corpses here, but they've been taken by the police. So we were directed to go from mortuary to mortuary in Kaduna in search of my son. We eventually got him in one of the hospitals, the mortuary, and I said, yes, that is my son, Michael Nadi. He's my son. So I had to pick the corpse there, and we took it to the St. Gerard's mortuary, that is the Catholic hospital. It was very traumatic.
Absolutely.
There was a time that one of the parents came when we were still negotiating on how to release them. She came to me and she held me on my neck and said, bring back my son. Bring back my son. On 3 times she mentioned that. Then one of the formators, the priest came and held her and said, Father Rector will bring back your son. Just calm down. Caroline, I was taken to the hospital on 2 occasions that I was sick. But after cross-examination by the doctor, he told me I was not sick. It was simply because of the trauma. Yeah, because of the trauma. It wasn't easy. And at the end, when we finally got the corpse, I had to ask the provincial bishops, because they were now thinking of taking Michael back to his diocese to bury him in the diocese. And I made a passionate request to them. I said, this was my son. He was taken here. They killed him. Please, if you don't mind, I would like him to be buried in the seminary. And the reason was so that any other person coming to the seminary as a seminarian will know what it means to be a priest. Mm-hmm. That you submit totally. You no longer belong to your family. You submit yourself to God. And here becomes your home. And the bishops agreed with me. And as I speak with you, the tomb is there in the seminary.
I've seen it. It's central. It's beautiful. It's peaceful.
Yeah.
And as you say, the seminarians, it's a central focal point for them.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I haven't spent much time in Nigeria, but in the time that I did, I sensed the importance of family and the way you speak about the seminarians, you know, as your children. These are your sons, and that's the relationship that you have with them. These young men is fantastic and really moving. I think the other interesting thing is about your willingness to talk about the trauma that you encountered, because it's my understanding that it's particularly difficult for men in Nigeria to admit this. And I do often wonder, you know, when I'm thinking about it, when I'm praying about the church in Nigeria, what help are the priests and the bishops and the sisters? You know, what are they? They're so busy helping support people.
Yes.
And I know that, you know, ACN runs projects for psychospiritual counseling. And, you know, it's such a damaged church, so strong.
Yeah, very strong. Very strong. Because like the priest, the religious, we know that our calling is to serve the people. and we do our best in serving the people. Of course, there are human weaknesses here and there, but the principal focus is to ensure that we make people to see God in what we do. And I can assure you, even when I had this terrible experience of taking away the seminarians, we had many people coming in to sympathize with us, to pray with us, and to identify with us what we are passing through. And to be honest with you, the relationship is fantastic.
That's
wonderful,
it's
fantastic.
To hear.
Yes.
So moving on to your new role,
yes.
Sounds like the difficult time and the joyful times you had as the rector of the seminary really has helped prepare you.
Exactly.
So can you talk a bit about your diocese? What's is it like Kaduna State is about 50-50 Muslim Christian? Is that right?
Yeah, in Kaduna State, sometimes it depends on who is talking. If you are talking to a Christian may say to you that Kaduna State is 50-50 Christian Muslim. But if you are talking to a Muslim would say Kaduna State is 80 or 70 Muslim, then 30 or 20 Christian. It depends on who you are talking to.
Does it vary from area to area
Yes,
as well?
it varies. Yes, it does.
And so what about the Diocese of Zaria?
Yeah, the Diocese of Zaria is 95% Muslim.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just 5% Christian. And this 5% Christian is also divided among Catholics, Protestants, and the Pentecostals.
Okay.
But for us, the Catholics, we have a good number of Catholic members there. The unfortunate thing, Caroline, is my diocese is 80% agrarian.
Right.
They are almost all farmers, peasant farmers.
Okay.
Traditionally, they were supposed to be Muslims, traditionally, but they said, no, we don't want to be Muslims, we want to be Christians. And for this reason and some other reasons, the leadership in northern Nigeria is almost all Islam. And so the treatment now is, since you refuse to embrace Islam, we have nothing to do with you. So no schools, even if there is a school, is not taken care of. No hospitals, no good roads. They are denied social amenities.
And police protection?
Exactly,
like
and protection. Yes, they are denied that. So their consolation is the church. So they take refuge in the church. And that is where I have been asked to work. And I am happy to work with them. I am happy to go through the suffering with them. I am happy to journey with them in all they encounter. But in all this, we need to make them to live as human beings. We need to make them their dignity. Like in the social teachings of the church, we talk about human dignity. Let them feel they are human beings. Even if they are dying in their poverty, let them die with their dignity as human beings. So I am ready to journey with them. Whatever help I may have to assist, I will give it all. And I will give my strength and capability all to serving these people.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to thank you on their behalf.
Yeah. I'm ready to journey with them.
Well, do you have, when I was in the Archdiocese of Kaduna, we went to visit a village way off the road called Adamadutsa. And I've written about it recently. It was attacked about 6 weeks before we went.
Yeah.
So is the Archbishop of Zaria, the Diocese of Zaria like that? Are there these isolated... Because I just thought these people are, they're so defenseless on top of everything else.
Yes, Caroline. We are also defenseless, to be honest with you. I have a priest today that is because of his parish was attacked. He was shot on his leg. They refused to kill him because they say he was going to be a huge source of income for them. So to kill him was to be a loss. But to shoot him, that will attract sympathy and they will get money. Anyway, at the end of it, he was released. As I speak with you now, he is still recuperating in Lagos. And as he is in Lagos, he is undergoing some trauma exercises to get back himself. His name is Father Fitzson. And that is not the only parish. We have other parishes in Zangotama 1, Zangotama 2. We have other parishes in Rumi, all in my diocese. We face a lot of attacks from kidnappers, attacks from bandits, people who do not just like us because we are Christians. A lot of it.
And do you have, what are your plans? How are you working? What's your vision for improving the lives of these people for the time that you're looking after the diocese? What are your priorities?
Yeah, my vision is to speak out to people. If there are people who are ready to assist us, to help us in order to lessen the suffering of these people. As I just mentioned earlier, I am ready to journey with them. I am ready to suffer alongside with them because God has asked me to be with them. And I am saying this because if there are other people who could be of assistance to us, I'll be very glad in order to help these people to live as human beings, to live as children of God. That is my vision. I want them to experience the love of God through that. Yeah.
I think, my time in the Middle Belt in Nigeria was so welcoming, everybody, and I'm sure that the people in the Diocese of Zaria are so warm, so welcoming, and the whole, it's also sort of, it's very, very colourful, wonderful sort of clothes, and all the mangoes, and it's so friendly, and
I'm happy you really got
laugh.
it.
It's just so it hurts to hear how these people are living, what they're going through.
And Caroline, the interesting thing is, in all this suffering, they are happy people.
Yeah, they are. The joy and the faith, they're so profound, isn't it? So deep.
Yes. Did you have the opportunity of attending a mass in Kaduna?
Yes.
On a Sunday, not weekday?
Oh, yeah.
How many hours?
We weren't in Kaduna for Sunday. We were. I'm trying to remember because it's all. But I know I attended lots of masses when I was there. Good. In fact, I was in Polka in Maiduguri in the middle of the day on a random weekday, and it was packed.
Oh my goodness!
Just packed, with people and joy, and they were IDPs. But so glad to have the opportunity to have mass. So, in your diocese, are you prioritizing education for the children or vocations, or what are your...
Caroline, immediately I got there and I saw what was on the situation. I declared education state of emergency. There's a school that in a room like this, you have about 30 people living here.
Wow.
Mattresses on the floor in the night. Anywhere you have the space, you can lay your head. Then in the morning, they pack all these mattresses by the side so that they can have space to move around and go to class. These are children of the Hausa Christians, those neglected by the government. We have in that school over 640 students.
Oh my goodness. These are children who want to learn.
Yes,
want to
and
be
we
educated.
have, in fact, there is one of them, the 5 years old. And I couldn't believe it. I said, what are you doing here? He said he wants to be educated. 5-year-old child. And I asked the mom, because they came to visit them, why are you leaving your child here at this age? At age 5, your child's supposed to be with you. And she said, my son would not allow me, would not want to live with me because he wants to be educated. He wants to be in school. Exactly. Yeah. So that is the situation. I prioritize education at the moment in my diocese. Yeah, education.
Start with learning.
Exactly.
Start with learning.
Yeah.
And what about vocations in the diocese? You do that to the camera so people can see beautiful face.
Vocation is booming. Vocation is booming. But we turn people back because we cannot sponsor them in school. We don't have the money to sponsor them. We turn them back. Vocation is really booming, not only in Nigeria, but specifically in my own Diocese of Zaria. Yes.
You have the magic
Yes,
vocational
exactly.
touch.
Yeah.
I was able in Kaduna at the Good Shepherd Seminary, and then when I spoke at Jos as well in
Yes.
the St. Augustine Seminary,
Augustine's.
to be able to say
Yeah.
that the gift, the witness that those seminarians can provide already, these young men, as well as when they go on to the priesthood, what they provide strengthens our faith here in the UK as well.
That's good.
Because,
That's good.
you know, we're not persecuted church.
Yes.
And to hear what people are going through for their faith is something that we can take to heart.
Yeah, and let me tell you something quickly. You know, when my students were attacked, we thought there was going to be a fall in vocation. No. The numbers increased. Wow. And we had to conduct a kind of a research to ask why. And they said, look, we want to preach to those who kill us. We want to preach to those who hate us. We want to preach to those who discriminate against us. I mean, the zeal is there.
That's amazing.
It is
God
amazing.
is making sure that the church in Nigeria is
They want
protected.
to preach. They want to sell the gospel of Christ to people. And I think that is amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking this time to talk to me.
Thank
and I
you.
will remember you and your diocese in my prayers.
Do.
So grateful for you to take this time. And thank you all very much for tuning in to listen or to watch this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do follow us on YouTube or on the platform you choose to watch your podcast. And also we'd be grateful for you to have a look at our social media. So follow ACN UK on any social media platforms you use. Thank you so much. And thank you, Bishop Habila. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Goodbye.